Hey there, and welcome to the Motion Science video podcast. My name is Cameron, and today we're going to talk about as a motion designer, do you need to understand design? Hey there, and like I said, welcome to the podcast. I'm Cameron. This is Motion Science, and I'm glad to have you with me here today because in today's video, we are talking about if you need to know design. Okay. And the short answer is plain and simple yes. Okay. Now, there's going to be people who disagree with me who say, well, I don't need to know design. I'm a motion guy and I'm good with that. And that's fine and dandy for you. But honestly, if you want to be super successful, as a motion designer, you need to understand design. Okay. The only time you don't need to understand design is if you're in like a studio environment, like a major studio pipeline. And in that pipeline, you have one single job. And that one single job could be maybe you're a camera operator, right? A virtual camera operator, or maybe you texture, or maybe you're a lighting technician, right? Or you're a rigger, or strictly character animator, whatever it is. You're working for a major studio, and you have one single job, and that's it, right? That's the only time you don't really need to understand design, in my opinion, because any other time, whether you're working for a studio, like a production studio, or an agency, or direct to client, or for any other type of client, you need to understand design so that your work doesn't look like crap, right? Like plain and simple, you don't want your work to look like crap. And I see it all day long, especially on social media channels right now. Okay. I'm not here to bash on anybody and say, don't go follow this guy because his work sucks. But it's a truth that no one's talking about is that all day long on social media, I see people who are animating things like dynamics, right? Like we've got fluids flying out of something, or fluids flying over a letter, a piece of type, or something's bouncing. And it's great that you can do that, but typically the animation's awesome, but the design sucks, right? And you're never going to get hired in the real world by any good client if you don't have an eye for something, right? And unless I said like that client's hiring you just to do one task of animating. So I see it a lot. Like I said, I see different online education being taught where it's like, click this button, you will learn how to be a great animator. But at the same time, you put out the work and you've made something, you've animated it and it looks great, but it looks great in animation terms, not in it's not pleasing to the eye. Okay. So if I am really good at, let's say, I can rig a character and I can make a walk cycle really look good. If my character doesn't look good, or my scene doesn't look good and the composition is not looking correct, and I don't understand the rule of thirds, and I don't understand color palettes, and I don't understand what shape is or line, bottom line, you're not going to get hired to do motion graphics, to do motion design as a professional, right? Maybe a client will come along and say, "Hey, can you animate this artwork that's already done?" And that's great, and maybe you can animate it. But if you still don't understand why that artwork looks great, what compositionally about that is working so well, then you're I'm guessing your animation's still gonna suck, right? Because you don't understand that things should be flowing certain ways, our eyes should be pointed certain ways, and that relates to animation, right? Because you understand what good design is. So if you don't understand that, you're not gonna get hired to do this work that you wanna do so bad, and you're always just kind of have it as a hobby, right? And that's great if you want to keep it as a hobby and just kind of play around with it. That's great. But if you want to do this professionally and you want to get paid to do this, you need to understand what good design is and some of the rules about it, right? So, my advice to you is keep honing your animation skills, but at the same time, you need to start understanding what design is. And that doesn't mean that you have to go hire someone like me and take a motion science course, or you have to go hire this guy over here and take his design course and be a graphic designer. You don't have to do that right now. What you can do right now are some simple steps. Those are steps like you could just look at work that inspires you. And for all of us, we're all attracted to different types of creative motion design. And so you just need to find something that inspires you. And then I want you to take that piece and I want you to break it down. Okay. Now, if this is like a 2 or 3 minute title sequence, don't take the entire title sequence and break it down bit by bit. Just take like 30 seconds of it or 15 seconds of it, a part that really stands out to you, and then study that and study what about that is speaking to you visually. What about that? Now, if it's, part of it's the motion and the animation, that's great. Maybe you already understand what that is, but then start looking at how things move and why they're moving and what other parts of that image or that title sequence or that piece online is speaking to you. Is it the colors? And if it is the colors, what about the colors are working so well? Are they complementing each other? Is it the overall shapes of the design of whatever's in that piece? Is it repetition that's happening? What about it? Is it texture? These are all elements of great design. So what you can do right now is just take those pieces, break them down, study them, and start to understand why they work, right? What about them works? Now, that's how I learned. I never went through a traditional art school. I never went through a traditional art program. I can't draw worth of crap, but I've taken the time over the years and I've really studied a lot of great motion design and I continue to study it to improve my skills. And I continue to study designers that speak to me and I learn from what they do and I bring it into my own style and my own methods. And I'm able to implement a strong motion design piece because I do understand design with the motion, right? We are motion designers. Now, some of you will call us motion graphic artists or motion graphic designers, but the word graphic is in there, the word designer is in there for a reason. Okay. So I just encourage you to get out there and start learning parts of motion design, the design side of it, because it is going to make you a better motion designer in the long run. So hopefully that this helps you out and helps you understand where you need to go to get better as a motion designer. I invite you to check out motionscience.tv. We have lots of great courses. We have lots of amazing memberships to help you become the best designer that you can be. Until next time, I am Cameron, and this is Motion Science.